Happy September, my friends. Fall is officially upon us. I am back at school, slowly but kind of surely getting back into the rhythm of things. I have to be honest, it has not been an easy transition, but I am trying my best. I'm trying to gradually add new things onto my plate. But I am really excited to be here talking to you because today I have one of your favorite videos to film, which is a What's New from Hermes for September update. In case you're new here, these are the videos where I share with you the latest and greatest Hermes launches for the month that you could consider adding to your luxury collection or at least to your wish list. Now, September is a particularly interesting month when it comes to Hermes and also fashion in general because I love fall fashion. It is my favorite time of year to start layering and adding unique and interesting textures to an outfit. And the reason it's really interesting when it comes to Hermes and why it is kind of a thrilling month is because first of all, Hermes is back from their annual holiday, so stock should start picking up. We are slowly heading into the special order season, which is definitely something I would like to share a couple of things about in today's video. If you are considering asking for an a la carte bag, or maybe you have already received an invitation to place an order for an a la carte bag, in which case I have some tips and tricks I would like to share with you. And I will also try my best to pass by Hermes today to see what bags they have on shelves. I can't make any promises because I have class in just a little bit. I have to head to school and then I'm going to be filming the official What's New from Hermes video this afternoon. But I will try my best to pass by Hermes. But even if we don't have the chance to do that, I have plenty of things that I cannot wait to put on your radar and also hear your thoughts on in the comment section. But before we do that, I have an extremely exciting update to share with you because if you saw, I think it was my last vlog, which must have gone up a couple of weeks ago at this point. You may remember me talking about wanting to add a new school bag to my collection, preferably in suede, and I have found the perfect suede bag. It was kind of the perfect storm because as soon as that video went live, I started thinking and talking about a collaboration with a new brand that I have not worked with before. This is going to be my first time working with them. And if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I don't take sponsorships that often. I try to work with the same companies over and over again because I'm really quite selective with who I work with, because if I'm going to put something on your list of pieces to look at, it is genuinely something, it has to be something that I would feel comfortable spending my hard-earned money on. And this is a brand that I found extremely intriguing, and they have some incredible suede bags. So I would love to introduce you to my new school bag, which is this incredibly thoughtfully designed, beautifully crafted suede tote bag from the brand Songmont. And when I was looking for this new bag to add to my collection, I had quite a few requirements that I needed this new bag to meet. I wanted to make sure that it was aesthetically designed. I wanted something that was beautifully crafted from the finest materials. It was something that would elevate an outfit, but it wasn't something that, first of all, would cost an arm and a leg, and something that I would have to baby. And again, I wanted something that was just user-friendly, something that I could throw on my bike and I wouldn't have to worry about. So there were quite a few boxes to tick, and this bag has been able to do that for me. Now, if you know me, you know that I love beautiful things, but one thing I appreciate even more than a beautiful design is a brand with a heart and a soul and heritage. And there is quite a lot to share about Songmont because it is a brand that was founded in 2013 in Beijing by a mother-daughter duo. The designer and founder of Songmont is a lady named Fu Song, who was returning to work in the early 2010s after being on maternity leave. And she was really struggling to find a workhorse bag that was both practical and stylish and did not break the bank. It was something that she just could not get her hands on because she had quite a few boxes to tick with this bag. kind of similar to the criteria that I had when I was looking for the perfect school bag. So instead of just buying something off the shelf, she ended up designing something. And she was really fortunate because both her grandmother and her mother were extremely skilled artisans who were able to realize her visions with the help of their friends who were the same age as her grandmother, which I found such a beautiful story. It's not something that you hear about often. I feel like we live in a society that tends to overlook and underestimate people who have gone down the path of life, who are further down their journey, when in reality these are people who have so much experience, so much wisdom, and so much practice to share and pour into a creation, especially when it comes to pieces that rely on meticulous craftsmanship and artistry, because these people have had decades to truly understand their craft and become the very best at what they do. So I was really just enamored by the narrative and the story of this brand, and I was really excited to give one of their bags a try. The bag that I landed on is the Yori duffel bag, which is available in 3 different sizes. There is a mini, a small, and then a medium size. The one that I have here is the Yori medium duffel bag, but this is the largest one in the collection, even though it's called the medium, and it is not overwhelming by any means. You can either pick up the Yori duffel bag in the brand's iconic time tanned leather, which was developed by Songmont themselves. And what's unique about that leather is that it really carries the beauty of time itself. You can really see as that leather becomes more decadent as time goes on, and then you can find it in specially treated calf suede, which has the most beautiful buttery, almost silk-like feel to it to the touch, but it has a beautiful, extremely luxurious, rich sheen and the most beautiful, rich caramel camel color, which I mean, there's nothing more fall-like than a heavenly soft suede bag. You can tell that it was designed by someone who's actually using these bags. Some of my favorite details on this bag are the phone slash passport holder, because obviously this is something that you can use for daily commute. You can use it as a workhorse bag. You can definitely use it as a gym bag, which is what I have been doing with this. I've been carrying this from school to the gym and then back home because it really fits all my essentials. But you can of course also use this for traveling, in which case you can use this phone flap bucket for storing your passport. The back pocket also fits a 14-inch MacBook, which I love. It makes life so much easier having these separate compartments for each and every single thing you need to have with you on a daily basis. And the best part is that Songmont was kind enough to give us an amazing discount code, which I will make sure to leave up on the screen. And I will have this bag listed and linked in the info box for you. But you can not only look at the Yori bag collection, but they also have a ton of other collections for you to check out. They have my other favorite bag is also from the Yori collection. They have this smaller shoulder bag, which is kind of reminiscent of the Alaya elongated bag, but then they also have the Yori bowling bag, which I'm also eyeing. But this suede duffel is just what my collection has been needing, and it's really a beautiful, expensive looking bag that will not break the bank at the end of the day. And you're also supporting a brand with an incredible mission and heritage. So a big thank you to Songmont for working with me on today's video. And again, I will make sure to have all the details listed in the info box for you. But I'm going to head to class, and I'll see you back here really soon with a What's New from Hermes update for September. My friends, it's actually a few days later. I know I promised you that I would be back later that day, but somehow the day just got away from me. I went to class, then I came home. All I had the energy to do is make a pot of tea. Then I had to go to the gym, and then by the time I got home in the afternoon, it was way too late for me to sit down and film for you. But that means that today I have plenty of time to catch you up on all the latest and greatest Hermes launches that you should find on shelves in September, which, as I said, we have quite a few new pieces to get through because September is always quite a busy month when it comes to fashion in general, but especially Hermes because they are finally back from vacation, which means that stock should start picking up for the upcoming fall season, which is by far my favorite season when it comes to fashion. Not really live because it means that we are heading into winter. To be really honest, I do love December, but I don't really consider December winter. To me, December is kind of its own festive season because you have so much going on. There is so much to look forward to, but then January, February, and March is what really I consider the winter month, which is not quite as pretty. I mean, I guess it depends on where you live, but fall I do love. So without further ado, let's dive straight in and start with some very fall appropriate pieces. We always start these what to buy from Hermes videos with some shoe updates. So let's go ahead and do that, starting with a true Hermes icon, which is of course their jumping boots. If you're not familiar with the Hermes jumping boots, I would highly encourage you to at least give them a try this upcoming fall season, because when I think of that classic traditional Hermes look, a look that feels sophisticated, refined, yet understated, something that is quite traditional and is rooted in heritage, I always think of these jumping boots. And even though they're quite popular, for some reason they don't feel redundant or overdone to me. And you know that I have been trying to stay away from pieces with a Kelly twist closure. They still work on this particular design for me at least. And the good news is that they come in two different shaft sizes at this point, because there was a point in time that not many people could make these shoes work because they were quite tall, and the opening on these boots was also notorious for being too wide for more petite women. But Hermes has a solution for you. Now these boots are available in two different shaft sizes. There is a shorter and the classic taller version, and the shorter version also comes with a slightly more narrow opening. So if you have thinner calves, you still have the option to try these shoes on, although they only do the different shaft sizes in their classic colors. And we are here to talk about some of the new limited edition finishes that these boots are available in, starting with a pair that features embroidery with all these sort of equestrian paraphernalia, for lack of a better word. It is inspired by one of the brand's iconic silk prints, which pays homage to their equestrian heritage. So it's very much on a brand, not only for Hermes, but also for these shoes, which again are inspired by jumping boots that equestrians have been wearing for decades. And obviously these jumping boots you would not want to wear to the stable, even though I'm sure you could. They were made so you have the inspiration and you have the style, but they are more appropriate to be worn on a daily basis. They are a lot more comfortable. Even though it's not a pair that I have in my collection, I have plenty of Hermes boots, but the jumping boots I don't personally own, but I've heard from friends that they are quite comfortable. And if you're looking for a pair with a slightly bolder look, you can pick it up with this embroidered finish in two different colors for this upcoming fall season, either in black or in a natural tan color. And these are slightly more expensive than the original jumping boots just because of this additional detail of the embroidery. The jumping boots are not inexpensive to begin with, but if you thought that spending 2,900 euros, or I think they are $4,000 in the US, was a lot of money to spend at Hermes on a pair of jumping boots, which don't get me wrong, it is, but it is all relative because you've seen nothing yet. There is another pair of boots which will set you back $7,700. It is another seasonal take on the jumping boots, this one featuring this sort of chevron style sheepskin pattern, which I think can go one or two ways. You can either make this look incredibly igloo chic, or kind of like a disheveled pair of Uggs, and not the cute kind of Uggs. Let's not forget that you cannot spell the word ugly without Ugg being in there. But if you are looking to make a statement and money is no object, these can be yours for just under $8,000. Personally, they are not my favorite take on the jumping boots. I would much rather steer you in the direction of the jumping boots in suede, which is not really often that Hermes offers the jumping boots in suede, even though, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's nothing more fall appropriate to me than a beautiful, rich brown suede creation. Whether we're talking bags or boots, I don't think it's a finish and a texture that you can go wrong with in the fall season. Not to mention that it adds so much depth and so much richness to any outfit that you choose to style them with. So the jumping boots are also available in suede in this beautiful new shade called Bark, which, as the name suggests, has the color of a tree bark, but it is this beautiful, rich, incredibly deep chocolatey brown with palladium hardware, and it is the exact same price as the original jumping boots would be. Most luxury brands will send their sandals on sabbatical when it comes to the fall winter collection, but Hermes is an exception. You know how much they love their Oran. Well, I'm not sure if they love their Orans more or money, and they know that people will buy the Orans no matter the season. Anyway, every single fall winter, they will do a fluffy, cozy take on the Oran sandals. And again, we have a new pair of Orans in sheepskin again. They have been doing them in different sheepskins, different shearling finishes. Some years the shearling is slightly shorter and more curly. Others it's a little bit more fluffy and puffy. They've also done the Orans in mink, which I have to say was one of my favorite takes on the Oran. I feel like if you're going to do Oran at this point, it's wise to do them in a unique finish or in a unique texture. And for this current season, they're going to be doing them in sheepskin in a ton of different colors. Right now, they're available in a natural, they call them natural, but they are more of a chocolatey caramel tone of brown, which I really think is quite beautiful. And then they are also doing them in Rouge Ash, and they are just slightly more expensive than the regular Orans, coming in at 900 euros. And speaking of special textures and finishes, if you love another classic from the brand, the Paris loafers, for this season they are being offered in a leopard print calf hair finish with a so black hardware. Now, you might not associate leopard and cheetah print with Hermes, but if you're familiar with their iconography and their heritage, you'll know that one of their most classic, most beloved scarf prints is the Jungle Love print, which features two leopards, I think. They're not panthers because panther is Cartier's mascot. They're not cheetahs. I'm pretty sure that they are leopards. So this scarf print features two leopards in love in the jungle, which is really quite a romantic piece that I have a lot of appreciation for as a hopeless romantic. And so they will reuse this leopard print in different shapes and forms. They've done sneakers with a leopard print, but for this current season, they will be offering some of their classic styles like the Paris loafers with a fuzzy, I almost said that they're pony hair, but I actually think that they're calf hair because they're made of calf skin. I think Hermes calls them the Moire calf skin, and it means that it does feature a little bit of hair. So again, if you're looking for a unique texture to infuse into your collection, this might be a good way of doing it. I'm not an animal print fan, but if you are, these Paris loafers are going to be out for fall winter. But with that, let's move on to some of their homeware, which again, not quite the most exciting métier to look at just yet, but there's one new range that I have to put on your radar because it's something that I'm obsessed with, and it is quite accessibly priced. I mean, let's not forget what pieces we're talking about here, but if you're looking to infuse some Hermes into your home and you do not want to break the bank, you can get your hands on these pieces for $210, and it is their new interline collection of placemats, napkins, and tablecloth. Every single piece in this collection is made of 100% linen, and they feature this really sleek, modern, geometric embroidery design around the edges with a tiny H in each and every single corner. I have to be honest with you, it is really simple, it's really understated, it's really stripped down, and it is right up my alley. I love the placemats. I think I'm going to order them. They come in 4 different colors. They come in orange, in sage. They come in a color called sable, which is a neutral color. It's quite a light ivory, and then they also come in pure white, which I actually really like because the embroidery is, I think, either in yellow or orange, whereas the embroidery is a little bit bolder on some of the other pieces, but they have quite a stark contrast between the base color and then the embroidery, which I actually really appreciate. So they do the placemats, they do the napkins, and then they also do a tablecloth, and the napkins and the placemats are both $210 a piece. So you buy these individually, and I love the design. Are they insanely expensive for a single linen placemat or a single linen napkin? Yes, but what else would you expect from Hermes? And the reason I appreciate these is because of the juxtaposition of this incredibly understated modern contemporary design against some of Hermes's tableware, most of which is quite over the top, opulent, and definitely not understated in any shape or form. So I love that if you own Hermes tableware, you can kind of ground them with this more minimalistic design, because if your tableware is already so over the top, the last thing you want is a placemat that would also be just kind of hectic and overly rich and overdone. I think it would be kind of migraine inducing. And with that, let's move on to some of the new bags that you'll find on shelves. Well, actually, before we do that, let me quickly mention the newest color that the rodeo bag charms are going to be coming in, which is Gris Pontaine, and it is this beautiful foggy kind of gray hue, which is launching in the rodeo Pegasus in the size PM, which at this point is, I think, exactly 600 euros. So rodeos are only getting more expensive, even though they are nowhere near as popular as they once were. Now, if you are looking for a rodeo that is wrapped in some layers just to make sure that you can keep your horsey nice and cozy during the colder month, of course you'll know about the rodeo back charms with that little blanket detail. It's something that we've been talking about for several videos. It is available with either a punk rock finish with some studs in either silver or gold, or it's also available in the curve finish where the rodeo's blanket features a little heart detail. But if you still love your classic traditional rodeos, just know that the rodeo Pegasus is coming in this new beautiful foggy gray finish. And with that, let's move on to some bags. I can't believe I did not mention this earlier, but the Hermes cabin, so the largest duffel size take on the Hermes bag, is also available with a doggy print. I think it's called the Yuli print, and it features a Dalmatian, a sleeping Dalmatian, which is really quite cute. I'm not sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this print is not going to be available on a smaller Hermes bag. If you know otherwise, please let us know in the comment section. I have only seen this on the larger Hermes bag, which I'm sure Cruella will be adding to her collection for the upcoming season. You know how much I love the Hermes bag. In my opinion, it is one of the most underrated designs from the brand, but the cabin size is really not something that I ever felt inclined to add to my collection. But if you feel like it's a piece that you would be able to take advantage of, just know that for this upcoming season you can pick it up with a doggy sleeping on it. And another seasonal piece which should have launched exactly a year ago, it's something that we saw on the fall winter 2024 runway, but it's only coming out now, is a new clutch bag from Hermes, which I adore the look of. It is the Hermes Dépêchette pouch, which is this really sleek, modern, quite gracefully rounded clutch bag, which has the most fascinating inspiration to it. I love that Hermes can take the most mundane, most boring daily tasks and turn them into a true piece of art, because what inspired the shape of this bag is the way people used to carry around folded newspapers, just grabbing them and shoving them under their arm. That is the shape that inspired this clutch bag, which I think is so unbelievably beautiful. It's really all about the details, the exquisite leathers, this beautiful, graceful, really sophisticated shape. and the hardware, because the hardware on this bag actually sits at an angle, which is not something I've ever seen before, and I can only imagine how much engineering and how much refinement it's taken to perfect this hardware. It is a piece of art, but a piece of art that will cost you a very pretty penny, because I think this incredibly simple clutch bag will set you back 5,600 euros. It's exclusively available in evergreen, in either a taupe or gold. Those are the two colors that I've seen it in. And did I say evergreen? I think it might be evercolor. Not that there is that much of a difference. There is a very slight difference. If you are a stickler for Hermes leathers, it is technically, I think, evercolor, not evergreen. Regardless, it's available in some beautiful neutral tones. And if you are all about understated pieces that look and feel like $1,000,000 without screaming and shouting the brand name, this is something I would highly encourage you to ask about. I doubt that most boutiques bought this piece in excess, but I'm sure if it's something that you're interested in, you wouldn't have a really hard time getting your hands on, because I don't think people will be queuing up to spend probably close to $7,000 on such a simple understated design. Unlike that previous clutch bag, this upcoming style I know you will need no introduction to, but I wanted to let you know that it's finally back in a size that I feel has been quite neglected. I don't think it's a size that was ever officially discontinued, but I've just not seen it in so long. And here I am talking about the Birkin. Now the Birkin is, of course, for years has been unbelievably popular in size 18 and 22. Then Hermes also came out with an itty bitty micro Birkin, which I think measured 16 centimeters. But the most popular out of the Birkin line has been the 18 and the 22, even though it had also been available in larger sizes in size 26 and also 33. And 26 is a size that I've been seeing more and more of, mainly in Clemence leather, which I really do like. I think if you are a man looking to invest in a Birkin, I'm not here to tell you what to spend your money on. Of course, you can buy whatever makes you happy and whatever makes you feel empowered. But I do think that a Birkin 26 and a 32 tends to look a lot better and a lot more proportionate, I should say, on most men. So whenever I get questions from my men viewers wondering whether or not I recommend the Birkin, I always say to go a little bit bigger. And I think it is going to be a little bit easier for you to do that this upcoming season, because while I have not seen the Birkin 33 in years and years and years, 26 is something that I am seeing more and more of, and it is just slightly more expensive than a Birkin 22 would be. I think the last time I saw this piece in store, it was in gold Clemence, and it was 3,400 euros, which is of course a lot of money to spend on a bag. But when it comes to Hermes prices, it is still more accessible compared to other bags, even though it is an unbelievably simple design, but you're at least getting quite a bit of bag for your money. And while we are on the topic of bags for men or bags from the men's collection, again, I would like to emphasize this. I really don't think it matters which department you usually shop. If you find a bag that you love the look of, you go for it. But there is a bag that is technically part of the men's collection, which is the HEC Adult Backpack. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know my thoughts on this particular design. It's not for me. To me, this bag can look quite, do you know this British word? Chavvy. That's what this bag looks and feels like to me. And I'm not saying that it makes you a chav if you own this bag, but I think it can very easily go in that direction just because of the kind of people I usually associate with this particular design. Probably because of the fact that it only features a single strap. So if you want to carry this as a backpack, which is what it's meant for, you would have to carry it with a single strap kind of crossbody. Really not a big fan. But if you are, you'll know that it comes in several different sizes. And for this upcoming season, they are doing it with a So Black hardware, which doesn't make it that much better because it's really the strap that I am struggling to get on board with. Even though it's certainly something that you can style well, I don't think most people wear this bag particularly well, but that is just my humble opinion, and it really shouldn't matter what I think to most people out there. But there is a piece that is inspired by the hardware of not an HAC, even though it is inspired by the hardware of the Kelly bag, and the Kelly bag was inspired by the hardware of the HAC. It features a very similar twist closure, and this bag has been around for a couple of seasons. It is one that pays tribute to that iconic twist closure, and it has an oversized chunky twist closure on it, and it is one of Hermes's more sort of collector's pieces. It is a little Kelly inspired trunk bag called the Sanglons clutch, and it is one that is now being offered in the color doré, which is a color that you might be tired of hearing at this point, because it's something that I bring up in every single one of my What's New from Hermes updates. I know that I am done seeing doré for a while. It's a color that launched in 2024 to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the Faubourg boutique, but we are still getting pieces in this shade, which is definitely beautiful and show-stopping, but it's kind of losing its charm now that years later we are still getting new pieces in this color that was supposed to be limited, and it was supposed to be in celebration of 2024. Anyway, if you love the color and if you love this style of clutch bag, it is available now, and I think it will set you back just over $8,000. But if you love this style of clutch bag, but you're not looking to add it to your collection in this metallic gold finish, it is also launching in white, but with the cloté touch. And to understand where this cloté finish comes from, we again have to go back to 2024. The Cloté Mini Kelly and Constance launched for 2024, again in celebration of the Faubourg boutique, and each one of these metal studs was supposed to represent a candle on the Faubourg boutique's birthday cake. So they had 100 studs on each one of their bags. I'm not sure if they're doing 100 studs on this smaller creation, but I know that they will be doing 100 of them on the new white Mini Kelly in the cloté finish, which is also launching for this upcoming season. And this is the perfect segue into another Mini Kelly, which I'm pretty sure we talked about recently, but they're doing the Mini Kelly in another metallic finish called Argent. So this is the silver sibling of the color doré. This is their cooler tone counterpart, which will be available in a Mini Kelly, in a Constance, and also a Kelly to go wallet, at least at this point. Who knows, even though it is a 2025 color, I'm sure that we'll be getting new designs up until 2028, 2029, knowing Hermes. But for this current season, if you love a show-stopping, eye-catching, bold statement piece, just know that the Mini Kelly is still very much around in a metallic finish, this season in a metallic finish called Argent. And before we end today's video with the most full appropriate Kelly bag I have ever seen, I wanted to mention this bag here, which is certainly made for the Hermes collector. It is another runway piece that's only a couple of years delayed, but it is the Piste clutch bag. I'm pretty sure I butchered it, but it is a stirrup inspired itty bitty micro bag that would really only fit a couple of credit cards. I think Hermes also claims that you can fit something like a pair of AirPods in there, or maybe a lip balm or a lipstick, but it's really not something that would really be functional. It's more of a statement novelty piece that you can wear as an accessory. And as I said, you might be able to squeeze a couple of credit cards in there, or you can choose to wear this piece around your neck. It does come with a strap slash lanyard. I mean, I think it would be kind of an overstatement to say that it is a strap. It does come with this leather string that allows you to wear this bag crossbody as a shoulder bag or around your neck, or you can, I think, also remove the lanyard and carry it as a clutch bag, or I think most people will probably use this as an extremely overpriced back charm, considering that this bag is available in goatskin for the not so humble price of $7,600. Don't get me wrong, I adore this design. I think it is just exquisite, but for this much money and for considering how much bag you're getting for your money, I would personally definitely not swipe my credit card for this. A piece that I really appreciate the look of, however, and I actually think that it could become the crown jewel of your fall bag collection, because this bag screams and shouts fall without it looking moody or just overly serious. Because when you think of fall, what do you think of? Personally, I think of suede and tartan, and Hermes has a new tartan inspired Kelly bag, but it is in a really unique color combination, not something that you'd usually associate with traditional Scottish tartan. Even though it's a texture that I adore, I definitely think that it can look and feel quite old and dated, but because of the color combination and this more abstract graphic take on tartan, I think it is something that will be a lot more just flattering and a lot more youthful than traditional tartan would be. And Hermes is offering the Kelly 25 in a new tartan print, and when I say print, I actually mean it. These new Hermes bags feature a print on them. This is not the first time that we are seeing printed leather bags from Hermes, but it is my favorite print that they've ever done. So they are doing the tartan print on a Gris Palais Kelly 25 in swift leather in the return structure with silver hardware, which I think it would have been really easy for Hermes to go for a really classic traditional bag, so something like a Kelly 28 Cellier in box leather and put a black and red tartan print on it, which I feel would have felt quite stuffy and quite moody. But this particular color combination with Gris Palais in a more soft, unstructured, laid-back style, and the combination of gray with pink does feel a lot more feminine, a lot softer, and a lot more fresh, which I personally really appreciate, because it still feels full appropriate, but also young, modern, and just kind of cheerful in a way. So this is a bag that I really appreciate that is available now. And then they're also doing a similar print on the Constance bags, although it is slightly more busy. It is called the Micro Tartan, which is available in a Constance 18, again in swift leather in a ton of different colors. It's not only available in Gris Palais as the Kelly 25, but it also comes in a shade of blue and also a much deeper moody shade of gray. Now I would assume that the Kelly bag will also come in all these different colorways at some point too, but currently I've only seen it in the shade of Gris Palais with the pink details, which again I really do like the look of. And if you are looking for a truly fall appropriate bag, but one that feels young, fresh, and quite cheerful, this would be a great bag to add to your collection. Now, I don't want you to confuse this new tartan print with some of their embroidered bags, because they have been doing the, I think they are called the Corée and Linné embroidery. You might have seen the Picotin and also the new shoulder Birkin light in size 29 in canvas, with this sort of fuzzy, really graphic embroidery on those bags. You are actually getting an embroidered finish, whereas the new tartan Kelly and Constance bags are merely printed. So that is the big difference. But by the way, the shoulder Birkin is still very much around, and I have to be honest with you, it is growing on me. I would definitely not pick it up in the Corée or the Linné embroidery. To me, they just feel a little bit too beachy and a little bit too summery, but that is a style that I think is here to stay, and it's going to be offered for this upcoming fall season for sure. And you can definitely find these on the pre-loved market too, but they are surprisingly a lot more expensive on the pre-loved market than I thought they would be. But anyway, the Kelly Tartan I am a huge fan of. Not something that I would be hunting for, but if you're looking for a new truly special Kelly bag to add to your collection, that would be a great one to start with. Now, I did say that I'm going to be talking about the upcoming special order experience in today's video, but I have been here talking at you for what feels like hours. So I think I'm going to do a separate dedicated video on the special order experience. If you have any questions to me, please leave them in the comment section, just so I can make sure that I address all the points that you are interested in knowing about. So stay tuned, that video is coming, and it will be coming before the special order experience officially begins at the beginning of October. All I would say for now is that if it's something that you're interested in, be sure to ask your boutique about it. And if you are intimidated, if you don't know how to ask, just ask them about the overall process, ask them what the process is, how do people get invited at your store, and see if it's something that you could be considered for. And then whatever other questions you have, make sure to leave them in the comment section, and I will do my best to address every single one of them in my upcoming video on the Hermes a la carte experience. But this was everything I had to share with you in today's What's New from Hermes video. These are all the pieces that I wanted you to know about for September. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on these pieces. Tell me if you have a favorite, if you have a least favorite. Are there any other pieces that you're currently in the hunt for? I love when these videos become a discussion in the comment section. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And if you would like to add a much more affordable but unbelievably luxurious handbag to your collection for fall, don't forget about Songmont. A big thank you to them for working with me on a portion of today's video. And all of the details of my beloved new Songmont Ure duffel bag will be listed in the description box for you. But I appreciate you being here and watching, and I will see you back here with a new video really, really soon.